Hi, Main Street and downtown people. This is another episode of our website breakdown. In this case, we're going to break down the Cedar Falls Community Main Street website. This is our first time breaking down Main Street and downtown, so this will be a good opportunity to hit a different type of organization. So, as we look at this site, there's a few initial things I want to highlight. First, it's a great looking site. It has a lot of good aesthetics, clearly lays out some great navigation here. I'll show you in a minute one area where I could see an improvement for navigation. It also highlights upcoming events on the home page, some useful information. I love this breakdown on the count, although it might be a little time consuming to keep it current. And then, of course, a lovely little footer. So as you look up here, the first and easiest thing to correct is the not secure. It doesn't use HTTPS and an SSL certificate. This historically has been a very difficult, challenging thing to add to a website. It is not anymore. Cloudflare.com, offers a free SSL that can be applied without even touching the server. So I'll include a link in the description. This is definitely recommended, and the beauty is it's free, and it uses their content delivery network, CDN for short, which allows you to actually speed up your site just a touch while also making it more secure. So everybody should be doing that. When it comes to the website itself, the first thing that I notice that is missing is a welcoming statement. Something here on this large image, or potentially immediately below, welcoming you to the website and by extension the town. Now, as I always say, it should be welcoming, it should not say welcome. Every single page should highlight some key value proposition in that main area above the fold. Now, be clear, this should not be in an image. It should not be a flyer that has the text in it. It should be a picture and on top of it text. That way on mobile it resizes and it's readable. It's accessible for screen readers, so people who have vision issues, it can read to them, and it's better for SEO. So it should not be embedded in the image. So this image is good, you just need a layer on top of it to have that welcoming message. As I do scroll down, I mentioned I like the About section. What's missing here is real simple, have a call to action. Click to learn more about our history, about our town, about our community. Have that be a link that takes me out and allows me to get to the About page. There is one, it's down here and it's in the header, but it's not accessible contextually, so it'd be good to add that contextually. I do like that these numbers are here, as I mentioned, and that you can actually click in and see that information, so it links. That's a good contextual link, same place as the top here. Has a good image, but again, no values message. So I'd like to see that here. Again, some text. Come check out our wonderful shops that are XYZ, including our historic whatever. Some message that adds a little more context, a little more flair would be great. I like that as I scroll down, I can see events off to the side. That's a nice thing to include. Those things go hand in hand. And I do like that you have some information, including a picture of the storefront, which is great. What I don't like about this and what leaves you missing an opportunity is that each one of these organizations should have their own page on your website. This would have this detail information. You could do a preview here and link out for details. In fact, show more information, like in Locables directory, you can pull in their events and their offers and their job openings and have that all show up there. That would give you more SEO because you'd have more pages to actually index for An Elegant Affair or Basket of Daisies. That'd also be more shareable, where people could actually share directly to this specific page and then from there link out to their website. As we look at the calendar, pretty common calendar that you see here. My month view is not my favorite. I don't think it's terribly compelling whether you have many or few events. List view is a better option. I always prefer to see images. It's something that people can digest more quickly than just the text, especially if there's a lot of information. And when I click into the individual event, it'd be great to see images as well. Sadly, the event details page doesn't seem to include images, which means when this is shared to social media in particular, there's no images there in the preview, which means you're way less likely to have people click on it and come here. So that's what I don't like. I do like that you have good information, that you have participating locations. I hope when you share this to social media, you tag all of them, because that will get them to share as well. And you've got all the pertinent information, location, start time, all of that. Because it is just downtown district though, visitors may not know where that is or where parking is, so you might want to include some of that information or literally instruct it over here. So when I click on events, I come to see the signature events, and this page I like, but how it's used I don't love. So there's a couple things. First, there's pictures, which is great. There's a grid, which is fine. They're your signature annual events. Picture here on Hops on Main. I click into it, no picture. That's a bummer. I mean, show the picture. Some people might come straight here from your email newsletter, or from Facebook, or from Google. They want to see the picture. The next thing is that when I click on Girls Night Out, it takes me to an intermediate page, which I actually really like, because now you're teasing this year in and year out. Ideally, what you would have is you'd have links here to last year's events, last year's photo galleries, and then this link here to the upcoming calendar event. And so every year this would get more and more robust. You'd rank higher on Google. People could go find themselves from 5 years ago, all that great stuff. But right now it's just an intermediary, and then it links out, actually just to the calendar. Maybe it's not scheduled yet. So your best bet there would be just remove this information. My highlighting notwithstanding, remove that information entirely. Last thing on the events is that there's no social sharing icons. There's no easy way for me to post this out to my friends and say, hey, come check this out, or doesn't this look interesting, or whatever the case may be. Add this and share this are two really good options. I like add this. It's free. You can drop in, share icons, and people can share more easily, including share via email or print, which is kind of nice. So remove steps. Every time there's friction, if I have to copy this, paste it into Facebook, more and more people won't do it. You get the reduced benefits of their amplification. So you really want to make it easy for people to hit, share, like, all that sort of thing. So as I navigate to some of these resources, what happens is there's some of these sub-navigation over here on the right. Now, this is the navigation I don't love. It's really kind of hard to see, and if you're not paying attention, you would think it's an image as opposed to an actual navigation, and on mobile it slams to the bottom, which means for the most part people don't see it, so it's not terribly useful. There might be a few other options that you could do on page. And then PDF. If you've watched this before, you know how I feel about PDFs. I don't like them. They're not indexable. They're not mobile friendly. They really are not shareable to social media. They're useful when you need to print for one-on-one. If you have to have a physical form, that's okay. But this is a great document. This content should be extracted and repurposed and reused in a web-friendly format. I love these images. All this stuff is great. It's not terribly useful as it is as a PDF. So I'd rather see that on the page with very specific information that's shareable and all of those sorts of things. For what it's worth, if you were to post volunteer opportunities using Locable, then those could be amplified by supporting organizations and appear on your website and their website simultaneously. I'm happy to see that there is a blog, albeit it hasn't been, until just recently, hadn't been updated for quite some time, but the blog is where your content should live. This is where you should post your main information. Again, images are really, really important. Whether or not you show this traditional blog stuff on the left doesn't matter as much anymore, but images are important. Where possible, chop up these bigger paragraphs into shorter, scannable paragraphs. This could be definitely 2, maybe 3 paragraphs, and use some formatting and subheads to make it easy for people to skip to the pieces that they want to see. Obviously, anytime that you want to highlight money or impact or success or number things, you can call that out with bolds or bullet points or other things. And then this is lovely. I like that. It's an image, which again means Google can't read it. And for people who are using screen readers, they can't see it. So I would encourage you to list that out here. Maybe link to their directory listing page if they have a directory listing, or link to their website if they're not a member, and that way you'd get more out of it as well. And wherever possible, on every page, every blog post, add a call to action. I get to the end, this is really interesting, how can I get involved? I don't know. So add a call to action. Click here to learn more about volunteering, to contact us, whatever the actual situation is, and people will be more apt to do that. As I conclude my tour of this website, which I generally really like, the last thing I'll note is that I'm not seeing any prompts for subscribing to an email newsletter. Social media is still so much more sexy than email because it's newer and it's fresher and we all have it, but it's still less impactful. So every chance you get to build your email newsletter, do it, because you own that. You own your subscribers. You do not own your followers on Facebook, as I regularly reiterate. And so any chance you can bring your folks from Facebook to your website, from your Facebook to subscribe to email newsletter, it gives you a great opportunity to reach more people more often. And oh, by the way, the content that you post here on your website gets shared to email, it gets shared to Facebook, and it all points back to your website, which helps you with Google all along the way. So a few ideas to improve things, to make this more impactful, and take something that already looks good and make it work even better without really any additional effort.